Welcome to How to Kill a Word, where the goal is to make you a better communicator, a better marketer, and above all, a clearer thinker. Today, we're going to look at a great commercial that is also a brilliant explanation. So what does your product or service do for a customer? The how is generally less important. Like, you don't really care how the electricity works in your house. You flip the switch and the lights come on, and that's the last you think of it. But when you have to have some of the how to make the product convincing, you need some explanation. And the explanation should never be dull. It should be as short as possible, and it should engage people, especially because we're all out of attention right now. Here's one of the guiding principles of my career. Nothing has to suck. So much of marketing, advertising, corporate communications, it's all just painful and condescending. It's very inhuman. Right from the first moment that I started doing this work, as a creative, as a communicator, as a consultant, I decided I wasn't going to be a hack. I wasn't going to phone anything in. Because in my mind, that's like being the kind of player who only plays hard in the playoffs, right? And then you get your shot, you get in the big game, and all of a sudden you find that your skills aren't up to par anymore. And that's a tragedy. So if you only wait until the great opportunity comes along to do your best becomes pretty crappy. So I've tried to make every assignment I've had great. Sometimes it didn't work out because of the clients. Sometimes it didn't work out because of me. Sometimes it was my fault. Sometimes it was just nobody's fault. I mean, the world and business can be rough, right? But here's the thing. I take responsibility for all of it. I'll give you an example from an early assignment I had in my career. It was an ad for a furniture store. You know, the ones that have all the prices and all the different pieces of furniture, and the idea that you're supposed to make a piece of creative or a piece of communication singular and impactful and really grab somebody, you know. That just doesn't happen with furniture store ads. But I was bound and determined to make this, by God, the greatest furniture store ad in the history of furniture stores, advertising, the world, the written word. I was young and enthusiastic. So how do you make that great? The answer is you can't. But I was young, and I was enthusiastic, and I had my principle, and I was applying it with great force. As I recall, it was a Memorial Day, and the only idea for the ad other than Memorial Day, because, you know, they died for your furniture, like, I have no idea why that makes sense, was the idea that everything in the store was 30% off. So I sat there and I got a pad and I just stared at it and stared at it. Furious intensity, like George Clooney acting in an early episode of ER, trying to write a great line. And finally I came up with something that I thought was, well, at least it didn't suck as much as a furniture ad. And my solution was everything in the store shown 70% actual price, or everything in the store 70% actual price. Was it the greatest ad in the history of the world, the greatest headline? Of course not. And it died the death, deservedly so. But the principle is still correct, and more important than ever. And now I might say it like this. If you get someone's attention, it's a sin to waste it. And you're going to make them angry on some level. Like, they're just not going to like you if you waste their time. You should reward someone for paying attention to your thing, especially if it's paid media. Now, I don't agree with everything in this Banksy quote, but I gotta tell you, the spirit of the thing is right. Any advertisement in a public space that gives you no choice whether you see it or not is yours. It belongs to you. It's yours to take, to rearrange, and reuse. Asking for permission is like asking to keep a rock someone just threw at your head. Now, he's essentially a graffiti artist, so you can see why it would be useful to view the world that way. But the part that's really correct is any message that you send to someone is a rock thrown at their head. So you have a responsibility to make it soft, and maybe to make it something that they want to look at, to make it interesting as it whizzes by or they pick it up off the ground. And here's the worst part. If it's not interesting, and it doesn't hit them square between the eyes, then it's going to be ignored. So with all that as pre-ramble, enjoy this explanation of pesticide.
Walk. Ow. ฉีดดิ
เช่นไดโฟม
เ ตายมึงซื้อยี่ห้ออะไรมาเนี่ย
เชนไดไงอ้าวมึงจะไปไหน
กำลังกูดิ
กลับไปไหม
อ๋อ จะกลับไปบอกเพื่อน ว่าเชนไรกระจอกพี่ยังไม่ตาย
ใช่
มันทำอะไรพี่ไม่ได้ ต่อไปนี้ พวกเราจะไม่ตาย
ตาย แต่แล้วตาย
จงไม่บอกพวกทุกตัว พวกเราพร้อมทุกตัวแล้วพี่ บอกพวกมันว่าอะไรพี่ ว่าอย่ามาแตะตัวกู
อ้าวเฮีย
เกี้ยง
เช่นไดโฟมฆ่าปลวก ตาย ตาย
If you've downloaded my handy guide to explaining technical things to non-technical people, you'll recognize this as one of my two primary forms that you can do this in, a story or analogy. And this is actually the two stories sort of tied together in a knot. You've got the story of the homeowner, their problem, the action they take, and the result. And you've got the story of what happens to the termites as a way to explain how the product works to make people value it more. But it's all so well done that you don't even notice and you don't even care. And it rewards you for watching it. I think I might start doing these like George Clooney did, all his acting in ER, you know, just really intense, never looking at the camera, talking about important things, shaking his head.